Hi there, my name is Rick. I'm just an ordinary bloke living in Birmingham, Alabama. Not much to see here, just a regular job, driving for a local shipping company, delivering goods all over town. It's nothing fancy, but it pays the bills, keeps food on the table. I was born and raised in Tuscaloosa, so Alabama's home. My folks still live there. Dad retired from his job at the factory. Mom's always been a homemaker. They're good people, salt of the earth types. Raised me to be a good, honest, hard-working man. As for kids, well, no kids yet. Hadn't gotten around to it. Not that I didn't want to, just, well, you'll understand why soon enough. I was living with my girlfriend, Marie. You know when you meet someone and you just click. That was Marie. She was this vibrant, smart woman who had an uncanny ability to light up any room she walked into. We met at a friend's party and she was just so radiant. We clicked almost instantly. It wasn't long before we started dating and then moved in together. We had a cozy little apartment near downtown, just a stone's throw away from Railroad Park. Marie worked as a personal trainer, so she was really into health and fitness. She even got me into yoga, believe it or not. She was popular on TikTok too, always posting videos of her workouts, her diet, all that. Thousands of people loved her on that platform. And one of those thousands was the woman she cheated on me with. Sorry, guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not used to telling this story. It still feels surreal, like something you'd see on a daytime talk show. Not something that could happen to a guy like me. Anyway, that's the basics. Just a normal dude living a normal life. Until it wasn't normal anymore. So, I'm not sure when I first got suspicious. It was probably when she started to act distant. Not cold, but like she had something on her mind. She'd just stare into space sometimes. And when I'd ask her what was wrong, she'd just shake her head and plaster on this artificial smile. That's when I knew something was up. One day, I came home early and found Marie chatting excitedly on the phone, something about meeting up at a bar downtown. When I asked her about it, she brushed it off as a work thing. Some new client she was trying to onboard. I didn't think much of it at the time. But things didn't add up. She'd be out late, not just once or twice, but almost regularly. Every time I'd ask, she'd have some excuse or the other. Work event, client meeting, girls' night out. And the more I asked, the more irritated she got. Accused me of being possessive, of not trusting her. That's when I decided to do something I'm not particularly proud of. I decided to follow her. I told myself it was just to put my mind at ease. That once I knew there was nothing going on, I'd stop. So one night, when she said she was going out for a drink with friends, I trailed her. She went straight to a fancy little cocktail bar on the other side of town. Parked a little way off. I watched her walk in, not with a group of friends, but with a single woman. That woman was, as it turned out, the girlfriend she'd been chatting with on TikTok. The one who liked every post. Left comments that were a bit more personal than the rest. I could tell Marie was smitten with her. The way she looked at her. The way she leaned in close to talk. The way her hand would touch the other woman's hand, linger there a second too long. It was like watching a different Marie, one I didn't recognize. This went on for a few weeks. The sneaking around, the late night rendezvous, the little stolen moments. It was hard to witness. Here I was, thinking we were in a committed relationship, and Marie was having an affair with a woman from her TikTok. I collected evidence, pictures of them together, snapshots of their intimate chats. It was heartbreaking, to say the least, but I needed it. Proof. For myself, for when I confronted her. But I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. And I wasn't sure when I would be. By then, I knew Marie was in a relationship with this woman. It wasn't just a fling or a one-time thing. It was serious. The same seriousness she once had with me. I felt betrayed, lost. I thought we had a future, but I was living a lie. Marie was living a lie. And that hurt more than anything else. As days turned into weeks, I kept my surveillance up. I started to observe how Marie and her TikTok girlfriend, let's call her Jess, seemed to share something more than just friendship. The way they glanced at each other. The prolonged hugs, the occasional hand-holding, and their blatant efforts to meet up without me knowing. It was all too much. This whole chase, a pursuit for the truth, felt like a twisted marathon without a finish line. And then there were those nights. The nights when she'd come home, her perfume mixed with a different scent, a scent that wasn't mine. The nights when she would lie next to me, saying she was out with her friends. Those nights crushed me. But they also fueled the fire of my resolution. Finally, I had enough evidence, enough proof to confront her, pictures, text messages, even a video of them at a local bar, looking way too intimate for just friends. I felt like a private investigator who was stuck in a tragic romance novel. The lead character was in love, but love was not in his story. And then the day came, D-Day, or Discovery Day, as they call it. I had been following them to a discreet bar on the outskirts of town, a place that was miles away from our usual hangout spots. They thought they were being clever, avoiding places where they might be seen. But they couldn't evade me. I was at a distance, watching as my girlfriend, the woman I thought I was going to marry, danced and laughed and kissed another woman. In that moment, my world collapsed. I was shattered, crushed, and lost. And yet, there was this strange sense of validation. At least I wasn't crazy. I had been right all along. My Marie, my beautiful, loving Marie, had been cheating on me. She was a lesbian, and she had found love in the arms of another woman. So I was seated there, in the half-light of our shared living room, my heart pounding like a relentless hammer on anvil. The apartment we'd painstakingly filled with bits and pieces of our life together suddenly seemed alien, tainted by the scent of betrayal. There was a peculiar kind of tension in the air, a storm of confrontation brewing in my chest as I held those incriminating pictures in my shaking hands. Then, the sound of the key turning in the lock made me snap to attention. It was as if a bucket of ice water had been thrown over my head, the chill of realization running down my spine. There she was, Marie, stepping through the door, a grin playing on her lips, her eyes sparkling with the memory of her clandestine lover. But then I dropped the bomb. I asked her point blank about Jess, the woman from the pictures, the woman she'd been sharing her secrets, her time, her affection. Marie's reaction was predictable: shock, denial, then desperate explanations. She stumbled over her words, trying to make sense of the situation, but I was not in the mood for her lies. I silenced her with the evidence spread across the table, her deceit laid bare for both of us to see. Her sobs started to fill the room, but I remained unmoved. The person in front of me was a stranger, an impersonator of the woman I'd fallen in love with. Days turned into nights, and a plan started to take shape in the back of my mind. Revenge, sweet revenge, was what I wanted. Nothing violent or illegal, just a bit of poetic justice. I knew her weak points. She feared the backlash from her family, her conservative parents, the small-town friends, all those people who saw her as an image of perfection. So I decided to expose her. The whispers started slowly. I began by sending anonymous messages to her family members, dropping hints about her secret life. The innocuous pictures of her and Jess, screenshots of their conversations, all slipped discreetly into their daily lives. Then came the emails, subtly suggesting her infidelity to our mutual friends, acquaintances, even to her coworkers. In the age of information, news spread like wildfire. The response was overwhelming. The quiet murmurs turned into scandalized gasps, the ripples she'd caused creating a tsunami of embarrassment and disgrace. When Marie realized that her secret was out, she decided to leave. Bags hastily packed, eyes rimmed red with fear and shame, she slipped out one dawn while the city was still asleep. But her disappearance didn't stop the chain reaction. Her reputation was shattered, the perfect image now broken, laying bare the ugly truth of her betrayal. My revenge was complete, but the victory was hollow. Yes, she had hurt me, and I made sure she felt the sting of her actions. But it was a Pyrrhic victory. I was left with the shell of a relationship, a broken trust, a bitter taste in my mouth. The lesson I learned was harsh but necessary. Love can turn to hate in an instant, trust can be shattered easily, and once it's broken, it's almost impossible to mend. Revenge might taste sweet momentarily, but the aftertaste is bitter, leaving a painful reminder of what used to be.